Did you make it through the boom boom firework day without any jump scares? Are you happy we're past the 4th of July? We're no longer celebrating America?
Yeah, I hate that day. I hate that day. Fortunately, it wasn't. It didn't actually get that loud where I was. There was some moments here or there, but nothing major. In fact, I spent my 4th of July playing Gloomhaven. You know what that is?
The board game?
Yeah.
Is that one of the ones where like one person like defects from the group?
No. This is it's basically D&D light, where it's like there is a whole campaign and you build a party and it's like a long, it's an extensive, it is the biggest and heaviest board game box there probably is. It is gigantic, and you play and you get a little progression, and then you're supposed to come back and play some more and more and more and more and more. And yeah, it's like you literally run a full campaign like you would in D&D.
Is it like one of those games, it's a box that you use like once and then it's done, kind of like a Pandemic Legacy?
I assume so, kind of, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's the way to ease me into a role-playing game. I saw the invite for people who want to play Gloomhaven. And then I looked at that and I went, well, I'm busy today. But then I also went, well, I don't think I know what Gloomhaven is. But maybe that's my entry drug, because I'm still not convinced that I hate D&D. To me, D&D are very similar to sweet potato fries. Like, I want to keep trying them, but every time I do, I go, eh.
When was the last time you played a D&D type game?
I thought you were going to be like, when's the last time you had sweet potato fries? Answer, 2 days ago.
That I believe. But I'm not convinced that you actually have played D&D.
I haven't. I've played a version of like whatever the cyberpunk mechanism is. And then I've played a one-shot that had a D&D light mechanism where like the rolls, like the dice rolls were reversed, like you were trying to roll low against your matches. I forget what that system was called. So I've done like one campaign that was actually, we did it for a show that I was on, and I probably played for like 7 hours of that campaign, and then I did a one shot for like 4 or 5 hours. So twice. The answer's twice.
You're a theater kid, aren't you?
I'm not. I
feel like you were a theater kid. Are you sure?
I am not a theater kid. I went to a high school that was the theater high school, but I was the theater and tech high school, and I did the programming and didn't talk to any of the girls. Not a theater kid. Not even a little bit. I think that if I could go back and like do time over again, though, I probably would have had fun being a theater kid. But
yeah, I feel like you would have,
because they make out a lot more. I hear they make out a lot more, which is like, I mean,
yeah. I mean, in a theater and tech high school, I mean, I did not grow up in an area that had specialized high schools like that, so I don't even know what that's like.
No sports.
What does the jocks look like at a theater and tech high school?
We didn't have any sports teams. We had no sports.
Literally had no sports.
We had no sports teams.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It was all.
What the fuck?
It was all theater and dance, or AP classes, or like a tech school. Like, there's a lot of programming classes.
What in tarnation? How do you determine who the popular kids are if you don't have sports?
The popular kids were the kids who took the most AP classes.
What the fuck? This is blowing my fucking mind right now. Growing up in a fucking blue collar town that was definitely revolved around sports heavily. The football team was definitely the most popular thing in the entire school. The whole concept of you having no sports is just so foreign to me.
Honestly, it was great. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it at all. My 4th of July wasn't much better. I went to party with some
what do you
old
mean wasn't
coworkers.
Much better? I had a great time.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, you're right. I said that in probably the worst way possible. We're recording at like midnight. My brain is like not working.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make excuses because that's what professionals do. My 4th of July was much less exciting. We went to a brewery in Santa Monica with some friends, and then went back to their home, and then just like put some movies on and played some board games. We decided to play Resistance with people who I've never met before, who I don't think want to hang out with me again after that, which is honestly probably my fault. I will point out that I won all 3 games. That's apparent. I don't know. And then 2 of my friends. This never happens. Generally, any drinking that happens is like pretty mild to moderate. 2 of my friends got sick in an apartment with 1 toilet.
Oh no.
So
who's using the tub or the sink?
It was trash can on the little small balcony, which is not a very private area.
No, but at least it's outside, so at least more of the smell is contained.
Yeah, my night devolved by like 9 p.m. instead of like, hey, do you want to go like...
Who's getting sick by 9 p.m.? What kind of degenerate-ass drinking is them?
I'm just saying, we played a lot of Resistance, and there was some tequila involved. These friends, I've never seen them get sick before. And I don't even think they drank that much. I maybe like the tequila was bad or the food was bad. I don't know. But instead of like at 9 p.m. when I wanted to be like, hey, let's go to the roof and see some of the boom booms, it was, hey, Joey, can you like run to Ralph's and grab like Pepto-Bismol and Pedialyte and more paper towels? So I'm at the Ralph's. It's like 9:30, and I clearly have stuff for someone who is not feeling well. And the cashier looks at me, does like a once over my items, and you know how cashiers have like the liberty to judge sometimes. Like if you're buying like a box of condoms and like a bottle of liquor, like you can just assume, or if you have a lot of like weird health whatever. I got assumed to the fact where she made a comment and was like, she's like, rough night, honey? I'm like, not for me.
Yeah, well, look, how does she make that leap? That you drove to the grocery, you're so drunk and but you drove to the grocery store and got yourself things to help feel, what? That makes no sense.
But she felt the need to comment on it.
That lady has no concept of helping out friends, apparently. She is her own independent woman, nobody else. She's out there for nobody else.
One last thing that I realized at the CVS when I was trying to help my friends yesterday, there really aren't a lot of good over-the-counter options for people who are like immediately feeling super nauseous. Like the answer for like there's a bunch of stuff for like gas and indigestion and like diarrhea, but wanting to puke a lot, the answer is like kind of maybe try Pepto-Bismol or maybe try Pepto-Bismol. Why aren't there more like just like regular anti-nausea stuff? Is someone a doctor who listens to this show? If anybody is a doctor or pharmacist, please. I'm doing the thing where I'm just asking for information instead of Googling for something.
Aren't you supposed to? Isn't Sprite supposed to help with that?
I think Sprite or ginger ale, like the carbonation, can help. That never really helped me, but my sister was always a big fan of like when she was feeling sick and nauseous, a warm ginger ale was like her favorite thing, and I'm like, it's not for me, Tori. I'm sorry.
Well, I got Sprite on my mind because I experienced drinking a decent amount of Sprite this week because I had a very busy week. But the big thing that happened to me was that I had a colonoscopy.
What?
Yeah.
I know how old you are, and the answer is not colonoscopy age. So we have to talk about this after the show, sir. But
so for those of you who don't know what a colonoscopy is,
ask your mom.
Shove a tube up your ass. And so I had to have that procedure. And before you have that, you have to go on you have to fast. You have to go on a liquid diet So I could not eat for a full, I think by the end, like by the time I was actually there at the doctor's office, it was like something like 40 hours that I hadn't eaten any solids. I had like baby Jello. I had like 2 or 3 cups of Jello. And I had Sprite because the only liquids you can have are like clear liquids. And you can have nothing with food coloring that is like red, blue, or yeah, I could only have green stuff. It was green Jello.
I was gonna say you're looking pretty skinny.
Yeah, that probably helped. Let me just say, my body has. Okay, so you do that. You do the liquid diet the day before, so you're not allowed to eat anything the day before. And then at 6 p.m. you start chugging this
you got
big
the liquid
fucking.
Oh, they
I got
didn't
the
give you
liquid.
the pills. They didn't give you the
They
pills.
did not give me the pills.
Oh,
no,
Austin.
they gave me the liquid.
That's really gross.
And I've heard about this liquid. Honestly, it wasn't that bad. They gave me lemon flavoring to put in it, but basically there was some sort of powder, and they gave me a big jug. You're supposed to fill up the jug, and the liquid tastes bad. It wasn't the most disgusting thing that I've ever had, like medicine-wise. But it was
a jug.
It was bad, but
There's a lot.
a big jug. It's a big jug, and and so I said had to start drinking that at 6 p.m. and it flushes out your system.
Yeah,
and let me just say, my insides have never been so clean, Joey. By the end of it, it was like by the end of the night, let alone the next like almost like 18 hours. By the end of the night, everything was gone. There was nothing left in my system, but just pure golden yellow liquid. That's all.
You have 2 bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for Ellie.
Yeah, 2 bathrooms. Yeah. And I was actually, SVG arranged a night where we would play code names. So it was like me, SVG, Universe, who else was there? Quinn was there for a bit. Jack.
Real Illuminati game, yeah.
Yeah. And so we were playing code names, but that was like in the middle of my like drinking session. So I just kept having to be like, all right, we finished up the round. Like, all right, I'll be back in 5 minutes. It was a fun time for me. Yeah.
I am so sorry. I I know enough people in my life who've gotten colonoscopies, and every time someone describes it, it's never not funny. I think it's just because there's poop involved and I'm a child, so that makes it funny. But every time someone has to be like, I got a colonoscopy, it's always funny.
If so, all the other people, my dad, like other people that I've talked to who have had a colonoscopy, they all got knocked out.
Oh, but
and I go
like
there,
Twilight,
and
right?
What?
Like a Twilight, like where you're not like totally anesthetized, but like you're like
yeah, they did
like
the 50-50.
kind of there, but not really.
I was definitely conscious. I was definitely conscious while it was happening. So everybody else that I talked to, they all got knocked out. But then I get there and they're like, yeah, so we're not going to actually fully knock you out. And I was just like, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, there's no pain receptors in your colon. There's only pressure receptors. So as long as you're cleared out all the way, you won't actually experience any pain. It's only when there's pressure that you feel discomfort or pain.
No matter how calm or true that sentence is, that can't be the way you're receiving that. Like, there's no way you just go, of course, doctor, there's no pain receptors.
Well, yeah, there's no pain involved.
I'm gonna be fine.
So I hear all that. You go through the getting undressed and all that sort of thing. And they take me to the operating room, for lack of a different word, I guess. And they actually they have me roll over on my side and like that whole deal. And the procedure starts. And this is how I know I was definitely conscious, because there is a part where I did experience pain because my colon was inflamed to a point where they could not get the rod to where it wanted to go. So I did experience pain because the whole thing was like, oh, if you're cleared out enough, like you won't feel anything because it's not going to be touching anything, basically, right? It doesn't have to like put pressure on anything. Well, we did get to that point, so it wasn't like the worst, but it was definitely like, I just remember the doctor being like, yeah, just try and relax, just try and breathe. And I'm just like, thought you said no pain, doc. What happened?
Where did you feel the pain? Was it like higher up, like in like your guts, or like by your stomach, or like in the back by your kidneys, or like where did the pain?
I think it was higher up a bit. It was like the last part that they were supposed to go to. So I think I remember it was like higher up. I remember that sensation and everything, but everything after that gets pretty fuzzy. So my memory of everything after that point in time, definitely. I don't know. So maybe they upped the dosage on me or something.
What you don't see is the doctor behind you going to the anesthesiologist like, give him more. Give him more. He needs more.
Yeah, so that is actually that. I hadn't thought about that fact, but now that I'm recalling it, everything was like, I don't remember, for example, putting my clothes back on. I don't remember that bit. Like, I literally like think back on that day and like, did I leave a bag there? I'm like, no, I definitely had clothes on when I came back, so I probably remember the bag. Really, though, the like most clear memory I have is like seeing Ellie coming out of the elevator to pick me up. So that was the start of my week.
And you're like, hey, everybody, let's party tomorrow.
Yeah. And then later on the week, before the 4th of July, we arranged it's Ellie's birthday, so we had a birthday get together at a barcade. So we went to a bar that's also an arcade, hence the name.
Good portmanteau.
Yeah, and that was fun. We played 6-person X-Men and Simpsons and shooter games and 4-man Pac-Man and all kinds of arcade games, and had bar food and drinks and stuff. So yeah, it was a pretty good night.
My favorite barcade I've ever been to was in Austin when we went for LCS a couple months back. It was a barcade that made their own ciders. I think it's called Cidercade. And all like you paid for admission and all the games were free. And they had like a giant arcade. So
damn.
Shout out to everybody in Austin in the chat. I don't think I've been to like a super awesome barcade in Los Angeles because either like they don't have enough games because there's not enough space, or all the games are like pay to play and they're like kind of expensive, or the bar's expensive. Like maybe
both places that we went to, the games were pay to play and they weren't particularly big. And from what the reviews I looked at, they were also like, oh yeah, this is one of the bigger barcades in Los Angeles. And then I go there and I'm like, this is not that big. So what the fuck are the other ones like? Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's a business venture if everything else goes south. Just get a big plot of land in Los Angeles. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's super cheap, I'm sure. No problem there.
You know, I actually heard a rumor of someone who was looking for a job recently. It was Secret, Cloud9, who's that kid? EternalEnvy.
Oh, EternalEnvy. Yeah. I was wondering where the bet was going.
Oh, I'm just trying to make a segue. Yes, and you got any more poop stories?
That was a broken segue. I got on it, and I was just like, what the fuck is this supposed to take me? What the fuck?
The anesthesiologist still like up the dosage. He's not getting it.
He's not riding the dragon quite enough. Yes, EternalEnvy is retired. And who knows what he's doing? Apparently, like there was that whole thing. Didn't he tweet out something about a bet? His friend made a $10,000 bet with him that he couldn't get six-pack in 3 months or something like that. Some shit like that.
I don't know. He must have a very expensive friend to pay that out. Although he's probably making more money getting ripped than he would playing Dota at this point. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think he might have missed the boat on like transitioning to just being a fun streamer. Like 4 years ago.
Why? Because he kept playing, or because personality-wise he's not a fun streamer? Which
both?
part are you implying there?
Both, maybe. I don't know. I feel like just the name has so much staying power from like the old guard of fans, that he could have like parlayed that into something a little bit more after the twilight of his competitive success.
I mean, maybe he still can. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure there's still a lot of loyal fans to his stream, but yeah, that announcement did not make me feel a single thing. I was just like, yeah. It's like when you fire a guy and then he comes back 2 weeks later and he's like, well, I quit. It's like, but you were already out. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, but were we talking about you like 8 months ago being shitty and now like you're done? Like, oh, cool. Got it, buddy.
Yeah, like he had already taken breaks before and he did like, I didn't really see him playing. And if he ever did like show up on a team, it was only for like, I feel like he was less than a week, maybe the last time he was on a team or something like that. Like
that's probably
true. He would like just try out with somebody or something like that. So I was like, I thought you were already retired, to be honest.
Can I try again? Let me actually take this whole thing back. Let me try again. If someone's looking for a job, I think has anyone seen Symmetrical's application recently? Is his CV circulating? Putting in some apps for work.
I don't know what the job equivalent of that is, but getting fired from Alliance is not a great resume builder.
Do you not put that on your resume? Do you just try and forget about that?
Can you explain this absence of work for about, what was it, 6 months or something like that?
So your resume says there's an absence of work, but Liquipedia says you lost every DPC game for an entire season. Is one of these wrong?
Yeah, Alliance had to make some changes, according to the big man himself, Lota. Mr. losing $10,000 a day. Have you seen that? Have you seen that clip?
No.
Okay, I'm actually gonna pull up the video right now, so I can get your reaction just live on air. But yeah, the Lotus said before their season was even done, technically, I actually looked it up. Technically, they still could have had a way to get a tiebreaker to stay in the upper division. When he made this tweet, but I guess the assumption was they had won a single game and that wasn't going to change. So they're like, yeah, we're done and we're going to rebuild and whatever and see if we can figure something out. So they had to get rid of somebody, I guess. And the first one was Symmetrical. I say first one because I don't know.
That can't be the only change.
I mean, there's like Nico Baby, they've kind of held to be their player, right? And now they have Weehaw. Weehaw is definitely the player that I would now turn to like try and build a roster around. And if Weehaw wants to keep playing with Nico Baby, then great. If not, then I'm probably gonna do whatever I can to keep Weehaw and kick and grab anybody he wants to play with at that point in time. But yeah, unfortunately, the Alliance roster did not pan out. this season. They're already eliminated.
They have the opportunity. They haven't played Entity yet. They can maybe win a game.
Okay. Yes. I think they're still technically eliminated, though, right?
That's correct. Yeah, they are 0-6. They are 0-12. They are not. They are going to Division 2, and probably not to TI. Which is fine. I forgot that Weehaw joined the team, because I remember like a month ago, maybe a little bit longer, we're like, oh man, like it's wild that there was like oh, he's not gonna join, oh look, he joined, hey, he's here, wow, like what's this mean for the team? And then we haven't mentioned it at all because it just hasn't been good news for him. I would love to just know his like unfiltered thoughts on the situation. Like, does he look back at this?
You want to hear Loda's unfiltered thoughts right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, please watch this trailer and just give me your reaction. It's just the trailer that I linked him.
Oh, hold on,
Or are you gonna try and get the audio onto the podcast?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it like in a really dirty way here.
Like, I'm never gonna fucking see this again. Like for the rest of the fucking boot camp, I'm losing $10,000 a day. If that's not enough reason for it to be severe, like this is your career.
Is this just about this DPC season?
I don't know, because I have not watched the video. All I know is that like I saw that trailer when it came out, and it definitely got memed on pretty hard. So I may have to actually go back just to yeah. So I know they were building up this docuseries because they asked some of the talent last DPC season. Last DPC season, or maybe it's the half season before that. Either way, they asked the talent to like give their thoughts on Alliance on camera, sort of thing, and like sort of set it up as like can you think they can make TI? And of course, some talent's going to be like, no fucking way. And then, maybe they make it a TI and then that clip looks really good or some shit. Or just kind of setting the expectations, I guess, for the roster, and then compare and contrast how they actually do. Which, unfortunately, was not this season's winner. That's for sure.
Does he mean like in a different currency $10,000? Does he mean like
that's what everybody was? I remember I read some comments about this, and they're
dollars?
Like, he can't mean 10,000 euros a day, right? Like, what? Because I have no idea. Like, I don't know if the actual series answers and gives more context to that quote, but the quote by itself is pretty funny.
I mean, that's like, so what? He lost $3 million this year. Like what?
I'm sure it's just the boot camp, but even then, it's like, how's the boot camp costing $10,000 a day?
It really shouldn't. Maybe with player salaries. There's no way.
So are we talking about like what's the currency in Poland? Because I think that's where they were boot camping at some point in time. Is it that?
That's not a euro, is it? I don't know. That makes me so uncomfortable, and it also makes me have so many questions. Also, I appreciate the idea of a really real and raw docuseries like that. I think that there's something not novel, it's happened before, but something fun when you're willing to show your bad side to everybody. Yeah. But that really sticks with you. And also, I don't know. I mean, God, I don't want to punch down. I don't know if Loda's the person who I would want to be exposing all that stuff, because it may just come off as more Loda drama instead of just reality.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely helps if your community stock is already bad, then it only can get worse. But I agree with that. Actually, I do really appreciate the balls that it takes to just be we're gonna create a really real documentary. You're gonna get some good insights into it. I mean, that's good content making. That's good movie making. So I appreciate that. Didn't actually drive me to watch the full docuseries though. So, but we're talking about the trailer now. So 2 months later after it was released,
I'm just gonna throw out there that if for any reason the production team, like I'm sure Alliance probably snaps one or two people who who were making that thing. Liquid's hiring in Europe for our video team. Just gonna throw it out there.
Just trying to snatch up some people right away. Good work, Joey.
I'm just saying, maybe it's a quality of life thing. I don't know. I'm just public service announcement for anybody listening to the show.
A real shark would have been making that. Would have said that before you actually went to Europe, and you could have actually met in person. And that would have been the real shark move. But
maybe I'll just have to go back.
Still trying.
I still haven't been to Sweden. Yeah,
you got another ABBA concert you missed out on?
I would, dude. If I am back in London before that concert ends, I would go back. I would go back. I'd 100% go back. It was so fucking good. I need to stop talking about it. I think the Alliance story is interesting, to kind of put a bow on it. Like they have to lose more people. They're not going to TI. I'm assuming that they might try and fix the roster to make a run into wild cards, but after that, then it's just like a waiting game until post TI and what could happen. But that's
the cool part is that we still have TI qualifiers, right? So
they also are gonna play at ESL Malaysia. This is oh god, because they have to have a team from Malaysia. This blows my mind. You're a tournament organizer. I'm going to take you on a journey. You, my friend, are a tournament organizer. You are trying to build hype and excitement for your big Dota 2 event that happens before the International. One of very, very few independent tournaments not on the DPC circuit this season. And you are registering teams to come and participate in your event. And you want the biggest teams, the best teams, the teams that are going to bring viewership for your sponsors so your business can make money, right? Capitalism. And when you want to display what teams are going to be coming to your event, you want to build hype for Malaysia. Generally, I think, as like a marketing person, I have a little bit of experience there. You want to put forth the teams that are going to make people go, wow, at the start. Man, OG's going. Oh man, LGD's going. Oh shit, it's Evil Geniuses, right?
Yep.
If I am, slowly releasing the teams that were involved, and I had to put them in any given order to build hype and a narrative, who wouldn't crack the top three?
Maybe Alliance.
Alliance, great. That's right answer for you, wrong answer for whoever the fuck is doing social media at ESL. First there was the whole talent announcement for Stockholm, which is still confusing to me, and now this. Who is running that social media account?
Yes, because then they announced the Liquid right after, so that's kind of weird. But I just now thought of, while you were setting that up, a actually very good reason why they announced Alliance when they did. Because it's not confusing that they invited Alliance, because first of all, we don't know when the invites happened. Maybe they invited them at the start of last season. So Alliance at that time was a team moving up into upper division, very promising. They're also a big, relatively big Dota brand, right? There are a lot of hardcore Alliance fans. And there's also a lot of hardcore Alliance haters. So both draw viewership, right? So I could see it depending on who has declined. And that'll be the interesting thing, is to see at the very end of it, the invited teams, and then who's not in the qualifiers. That'll kind of tell you who declined, right? If you're not in the qualifier and you didn't get invited, it probably means you just had zero interest in playing, which is fair because this event is a week after Arlington, and it's also in a very different place than Arlington, Texas. So it involves some travel that many teams just probably won't be willing to do. So it'll be.
I don't think you can even take a direct flight. It is too far on the globe to even take a direct flight from Arlington to Malaysia. You're talking opposite sides of the world.
And I also don't know if it connects that close, unless you were going to like boot camp for like 5 days or something like that. So yeah, it's definitely the timing of the tournament isn't great, but it's like that isn't necessarily an ESL 1 thing. It's just like you kind of sometimes book events where you can and shit like that. But for me, I could see a reason why they announced Alliance when they did, right? Because they invited Alliance. Maybe they invited them a while ago. But you start your announcements, right? And you can see what's happening to Alliance as you start doing these announcements. You do OG, like, oh, look, one of the best teams in Europe right now, a big hype brand in Dota. Then you do Fnatic. Hey, Malaysia fans, guess who's going to be there? Fnatic. You know, what better team in Southeast Asia to be going to? And then while you're doing this, what's happening to Alliance? L. And you go, oh shit. If we announce Alliance, because you can't uninvite them. They are going. You invited them. They are going. You're going to have to announce them at some point in time. Are you going to announce them after they've already been relegated to Division 2? That's not going to be a great look either. So maybe it's better to put them out now before they've actually been knocked out, you know? It kind of gets ahead of like you're trying to get ahead of like the like what, these guys suck, like they're still kind of a question, like maybe they could still be in upper division, you know, like maybe they were trying to pull that sort of thing instead of relegated team gets invited, you know, like that. The later you go, the worse it looks in some ways.
This is very true. I think that they're trying also. By putting it a little bit earlier in the media cycle, it'll just get forgotten unless you're like 2 insufferable people doing a podcast that like are skewing against Alliance.
Just can't let it go.
I just can't let it go. I just can't let it go for some reason. Yeah, like maybe that's helpful. There was a Reddit thread. God, I wish I remember the title of it. Posted 15 hours ago. It's on the front page still. By Gina Capo 22. The title is "Stop Bashing Alliance?" ?
God, I saw that thread, and it just has the same exact vibes. I didn't read the thread itself, but just that title, it just has the same exact vibes of leave Brittany alone.
Stop bashing Alliance.
Stop bashing Alliance already, please. Leave them alone.
What are the odds? I should do some detective work on this account and just see. We should take a second and just leave Alliance alone. I hope them all the best. I hope they win a single game in Malaysia. I hope
the important thing is TI qualifier is still coming up, and there's the last chance qualifier. So there's still plenty of opportunity. Again, especially if they have Weeha as their building block, they still have not plenty of time, but they have a decent amount of time to be able to put together a better roster and can still qualify for TI. So it's not like their story's done.
Real quick before I shift off Malaysia, I've been looking at a little bit of the SEA DPC, and I'm hoping that somehow RSG, who is the team coming from Division 2, who is doing really well, they're like tied for first place currently. They have 3 Malaysian players, none of whom I've heard before. Hopefully they can get into ESL, because I think that would just be cool.
Yeah,
I think they're the most Malaysian heavy team in the DPC right now.
I mean, I won't agree with your whole never heard of them before, but
I've not heard of MKS.
Listeners, you give sure, that's fair. You give Joey shit for that. I pay attention to Southeast Asia.
I'm just trying to give cover.
They're probably not going to get invited. And if I had to guess, if one other team, I mean, I would hope at least one other team from Southeast Asia is getting invited. I would say Boom, then maybe T1, and then RSG or SMG are probably your teams that are going to look to try and qualify through the C qualifier. But we'll see. There's been no North American teams announced. And it seems like TSM wasn't invited based off of a little bit of kerfuffle. There's another Sammy Boy complaint.
How the fuck did Alliance get invited? Hashtag Sammy Boy.
Yes, exactly. And then Saberlight, I think, responded. So the assumption there is that TSM didn't get invited. So, which is kind of weird. Maybe they invited Quincy Crew, or maybe EG actually said yes, or maybe they invited no NA teams. That'd be kind of weird.
Weird.
But then again, you do want to invite a lot of Southeast Asian teams, I assume. It's in Malaysia.
You should.
So you got to invite at least 3 people there, I would say.
You should.
And also, are any Chinese teams going to be going? Like, they haven't made any announcement from that region yet. So be super interesting to see what the rest of the invites are.
There's 3 uninvited teams. There's 3 more invites left, and there's no NA and there's no China team in the invite list. I assume what the most likely scenario is that there's a Chinese team, another C team, and then maybe EG.
And the Chinese teams go? I mean, Malaysia might be easier, but it's like Shanghai's not still in lockdown, is it?
No, I
maybe
don't.
No
think
Chinese teams were invited for a reason.
Well, there's a Chinese qualifier, so it'd be weird to have a qualifier but not have any invites for China. Is my thought?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I'm sure that this will all come out in the wash, and we'll know in a couple weeks. But we can loop back to it then. Let's just circle back. This is like a business meeting. We'll just circle back in like a couple weeks. I do, before we wrap out Dota talk, want to move back to the EU West DPC, because I think there's 2 things that are interesting to me right now. Okay. The first one being Gaming Gladiators has a real chance to be the first Division 2 team to go to TI.
Okay.
Because they're not having a great season and very well might get relegated. It's looking like them or Goon Squad to be the people who fall back down. But
sorry,
they're already
what
locked
you
for
said
TI.
did not register. So you're saying they're already locked for TI and they might be in Division 2. So they may win TI and then they'll start the next season in Division 2.
Yeah, or they'll be the only people who are like going to TI from Division 2 also.
Yeah. That's a very real possible thing with this system. People are like, if something like that does happen, people are going to make a lot of complaints about it. But they did wait the last majors like more, so they did kind of address that problem already.
It's an outlier thing to have, like, a team kind of go on a tear for season 1 and 2 and then like really fall off a cliff for season 3. So I don't know how you really
don't
like prevent
have,
that,
like,
Yeah,
no matter what, it's like you have to have, like, if a team wins the first major, like, of course they should go to TI, but it's entirely possible that they just shit the bed for the rest of the year. Like, that's a very real thing. We've seen it happen actually multiple times before, that a team wins like the very first big event, whether it was like the first Valve majors or the old school, the multiple major system, the third-party majors, or even just the first big event. And people get it. Like, wasn't there like the TI5, TI6, like there was like a newbie roster that got invited. I'm not talking about because they won TI or they're the returning champs, but like some Chinese team like won the first like big event. And I think they ended the season getting invited, despite the fact that their season was pretty mediocre, because they won like that first event. It seemed like that's kind of like swung it. I don't remember what exactly the situation was, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting to me. That's a storyline to follow, because it looks like it's either going to be Gaiman or Goon Squad, who are the other team that goes bye-bye with Alliance. And the other story that's interesting to me right now is that Yapzor is out for the rest of the season / indefinitely from Secret.
Yep, Secret have been playing with Zayats for quite a bit this season. I think ever since the second series that they played this season, they've been playing with Zayats. Stated some sort of health issues for Yapzor, and I think we finally came down to the point where they are out of stand-ins, and then the announcement was made So presumably it just came to a head. It was like, oh, you're going to run out of stand-in opportunities. They talked to Valve. And yeah, I have no idea what's going on with Yapzor. Seems to be some sort of health issues. But at the same time, he did say that he's going to be taking a break from Dota and he might do some streaming. So hopefully it's not too serious. Obviously, it's serious enough for him not to be playing Dota with the team, but he still is going to stream. So
yeah, feels like a weird one to speculate on, unless like because there's more info, because health stuff is weird, and I think that luckily he's not really being demonized. I think that the predominant narrative that I've seen is just a lot of people being like, "Holy shit, he's been on Secret for like 5 years."
Yeah, and Yapzor is a very beloved, I think, personality in this scene. Maybe not as big as like other really big names, but he's got a personality that is just like very easy to love. He's funny, goofy guy, pretty low key. You know, it's. I would love to know who hates Yapzor out there. That just
it's hard to, right? Sense. Yeah, like he doesn't give anything to hate. Also, he's just successful. Like, you know,
that's another thing.
I'd love to see like the list of people who like, you know, haven't won TI but have had like, you know, sustained high level success for such a period of time. He's right smack dab on that list.
Yeah, his individual winnings are over 2 million. So that kind of gives you an idea. Like he's definitely in that top echelon of players just from results.
Yeah. But we got, by the time that we record next week, we should be mostly done with most DPC scenarios, and we can like do a wrap then. There's probably no need to do that now. We do, if you don't have anything else, we do have a question from patreon.com/sidepoll.
All right. Craig Moon said, non-Dota related, but a serious debate.
Okay.
Would you rather have suction cups for hands or hooks for feet? Hooks for feet? I feel like shouldn't it be the other way around? Suction cups for feet and hooks for hands? Who has hooked feet?
I think the shift. Pirates? No, they have hook hands. I think the switch around is intentional.
Hey.
Oh shit!
We got to get you.
There was an ad that just played that is going to be baked into the recording, and I am sorry about that. That's going to throw a bunch of people off, and I can't.
That's our sponsor for this week. Thank you to that.
The auto-playing Liquipedia ad. Thank you very much. I'm going to go talk to the boys about that.
This episode's sponsored by Liquid. Oh, hey.
No, it's not. I got a lot of flack last week in the comments from people who thought that I had too aggressive opinions about milk, so maybe I'll turn down my opinions this week.
You really shit on almond milk?
Almond milk is garbage, and if you like it, you should feel bad because we're in a drought, and I don't know if you know how much water it takes to make a fucking almond, but it's a lot, okay?
Yeah, the last thing I expected out of this podcast was like the result was like doing the ethical and like monetary like consumption of milk debate. Like I scrolled through that entire thing and I'm looking at a chart that shows like how much water it takes, but also how much space it takes. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
If you're not in,
what did we do?
If you're not in Cap's Discord to join the Sidepoll channel, where we did have an extended debate about milk after last week's episode, you should join. We have a lot of fun, and we're there like all the time. To the point, I've been hiding trying to talk through some of my thoughts about suction cup hands or hooks for feet, and I think that I have a definitively correct answer.
Okay.
It has to be hooks for feet.
Agreed. Why?
Because I'm imagining in this scenario that you don't have like fingers with suction cups. You just have like a fucking nipple suction cup on the end of your wrist. And I don't know, like at that point, how do I use my phone or my keyboard or most interfacing devices? Like, I think that you're losing almost all functionality of your hands for like a practical purpose. Whereas if you had hooks for feet, then I suspect you can engineer something to go on those hooks that may act like feet. I think you can probably function more, quote, normal in society with hooked feet than suction cup hands. Because I'm just imagining trying to use my phone. It's impossible.
Yeah. I mean, anytime one of these questions goes up, it's always the feet. You always take the feet option because your hands are way
Is that your search history too? You always take the feet option?
Yeah. The hands or feet, always going for the feet.
Sorry.
Unless you take the suction cups for hands, if you want to become some sort of high-level crime heist artist, so you can scale buildings with your suction cup hands. Think about it. Think about it. If you're willing to make that kind, it's a daring lifestyle. Danger, women, priceless art. It's all there. You just want to take that risk. You could have that lifestyle.
You know what I'm thinking about too? I think if you had suction cups for hands, you could probably be like a very famous Instagram influencer. Everybody would be you'd be like a pseudo celebrity. Everybody would be talking about Joey with suction cup hands. Like, you can probably make really, really funny TikToks with suction cup hands, and I bet you can get rich off your suction cup hands. You still cannot use your phone at all. I don't know how you fix that one, but you can probably solve a lot of problems. All the money you're getting from your brand deals for having suction cup hands. Could you imagine, like, 3M? Dude, I would sell 3M so much sponsorships. I would be like the command stripped guy. I would be on like
3M
Super Bowl.
is a brand for like various tools and things, in case anybody doesn't know.
Thank you. They make command strips.
When you said 3M, I was like, is he talking about like you make 3 mil or what? What?
No. Like, I would be on the Super Bowl commercial for 3M, like with my suction cup hands. Mm-hmm. I would parlay that shit into great content.
I would be on the Nike commercial with my hook feet. I don't really feel like that's a good argument. My argument is much better, I think, for suction cup hands.
Okay, well, hopefully that satisfies something and makes less people mad than last week.
There's gonna be somebody mad.
Yeah, there's always somebody upset.
How did they disregard the value of hook feet? You could become the greatest circus trapeze artist.
I had to skip through Cap talking about his butt to listen to you guys talk about Yapzor. No. No one does that. You all are lovely. I appreciate everybody who listens and gives us money on Patreon and chats and Discord. Thank you. You're all great. Even the ones of you who leave mean comments on YouTube. Don't do that. If you want to support the show, it's patreon.com/sidepull. And we'll be back next week. Yeah. I'm doing the show hopefully ending where we have like a ending.
And the end of the show is here. It's the end of the show, and it's gonna end here. You can't stay here. You gotta go somewhere else. Goodbye.